What if the first thing you told yourself every morning had the power to shape your entire life? Not just your mood or your motivation, but the way you think, the way you act, and the results you create. Most people wake up and instantly reach for their phones. They check the news, the noise, the chaos, before they've even checked in with themselves. They absorb the world before they remember their worth. And in those first few minutes, without even realizing it, they give their power away. But you don't have to start your day like that. You can take it back. You can own those first moments and use them to build yourself from the inside out, because how you begin determines everything else. Your thoughts become your beliefs shape your choices, and your choices create your reality. When you start your day with intention, you don't just influence how you feel, you change the trajectory of your entire life. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing what to focus on before the world decides for you. When you wake up, your mind is in a state that's open, suggestible, and ready to be programmed. That's not just a detail. That's your advantage. This is the moment to plant the seeds that grow into action, courage, discipline, and clarity. If you don't do it, life will. And life doesn't always plant what you need. So you have to do it first. You have to wake up and tell yourself the truth that your life is still in your hands, that your past doesn't define your future, that every single day you're given is a new chance to become more, to feel more, to rise higher. You remind yourself that no matter how tired you are, no matter how stuck you've felt, there is still fight in you, there is still power, and it's waiting to be claimed, not someday, but now. That's why you're here, not just to exist, but to build a mindset that fuels you, to speak words that train your mind to see possibility, not limitation, to build a habit that changes your mental foundation, one morning at a time. If you commit to this, if you give yourself just a few focused moments each day, you will feel the shift. You'll notice it in how you handle stress, in how you speak to yourself, in how you show up. You'll stop reacting to life and start leading it. This is your edge. Most people won't do this. They'll live on autopilot. They'll wish for change but never rewire the way they think. But you're not most people. You're here to reprogram your mind, reclaim your power, and rewrite your day before it begins. So stay with this. Let it sink in. Because the way you begin your morning is the way you shape your destiny. And today is yours to claim. Say it out loud. I am in control of my life. Let those words hit something deep. Let them cut through the noise, the doubt, the heaviness. Because every day you wake up with breath in your lungs, you are not powerless. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are not chained to what happened yesterday. You are not stuck unless you decide to be. You are the one who chooses what you think, how you feel, and what you do next. That's not a slogan, it's your truth. And the more you say it, the more you believe it. The more you believe it, the more unstoppable you become. There are forces in life that want you to forget this. People who expect you to stay small. Patterns that pull you back into old versions of yourself. But here's the truth most never say. You get to decide who you are. You get to rewrite your own rules. You get to walk away from limits, even the ones that feel familiar, especially the ones that feel familiar. Your power begins the moment you stop waiting to be rescued and start taking responsibility for your life. Responsibility isn't blame. It's not about guilt. It's about freedom. When you take ownership of your mind, your reactions, your focus, you stop living on defense. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop giving your energy to distractions, to drama, to opinions that don't matter. You start building. You start acting. You start creating momentum that no one else can take from you. This mindset doesn't make life easy, but it makes you stronger than whatever tries to break you. It makes you grounded in chaos, calm under pressure, focused when others fold, because you know something they don't. You know who's in charge. You know who decides how today unfolds. You do. Repeat it again. I am in control of my life. You are the driver. Not your fear, not your past, not your insecurity, not your environment. You. And when you fully accept that, you become dangerous to every excuse that's ever held you back. You start showing up differently. You stop looking for permission. You start moving like someone who knows they belong in the room, like someone who knows their vision matters, like someone who's already becoming what they used to only imagine. You won't get it perfect. You don't need to. All that matters is that you remember who you are, and who you are is not weak, not broken, not waiting for approval. Who you are is capable, powerful, and more in control than you've been led to believe. So take that truth and breathe it in. Speak it until it cuts through every doubt. Walk with it until it shapes your choices. You are not here to surrender. You are here to lead. Your life, your rules, your responsibility, starting now. Your mind is your strongest weapon, not your body, not your environment, not your circumstances. Your thoughts are what determine your reality, and if you don't learn to control them, they will control you. Every doubt, every fear, every limiting belief you've ever carried, none of it has power unless you feed it. None of it is real unless you let it grow. But when you decide to train your mind like a muscle, everything begins to shift. You become the creator of your life, not the prisoner of your past. Most people live in reaction. They let thoughts come and go without intention. They believe every fear their mind produces. They accept every excuse it offers. But you don't have to. You can observe the thought without becoming the thought. You can feel fear without obeying it. You can watch the old program play out and still choose to install a new one. That's power. That's freedom. And it all starts by understanding that your thoughts are not facts. They are patterns. And patterns can be broken. You have the ability to shape the voice inside your head. You can make it stronger, louder, sharper, focused, aligned. You can rewire it to speak life into your goals instead of doubt. But you have to be intentional. You have to stop letting your mind wander into places that drain you. You have to interrupt the spiral the moment it begins. You have to talk to yourself like someone who matters, because you do. When your mind is strong, you are no longer a slave to your emotions. You don't chase validation. You don't panic in silence. You don't fall apart when things don't go as planned. You anchor yourself in clarity. You choose perspective over panic. You lead yourself out of the storm, and people around you feel it. They feel the presence of someone who doesn't fold under pressure, someone who commands their reality from the inside out. This is not about being perfect. It's about being aware. It's about noticing what you allow into your mental space. It's about choosing thoughts that build you, not break you. Thoughts that ignite action, not anxiety. Thoughts that align with who you're becoming, not who you used to be. You have a battlefield in your mind, and every morning you decide who wins. So say it with full conviction. My mind is my strongest weapon, not because it's always calm, not because it never doubts, but because I train it to serve me, not sabotage me. Because I choose what thoughts stay and which ones I destroy. Because I refuse to be owned by fear, weakness, or distraction. Your mind can work against you, or it can work for you. Choose wisely, speak boldly, think with purpose. Because the moment your mind obeys your vision, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Progress is always more powerful than perfection. Perfection is a trap. It paralyzes you. It whispers that if it's not flawless, it's not worth doing. That if you're not ready, you shouldn't begin. That if you can't win immediately, you should wait. But that voice is not your truth. It's your fear dressed up as logic. And if you listen to it, you will stay stuck. You will keep postponing your life, your growth, your evolution. You'll keep trading possibility for the illusion of safety. And you'll wake up one day realizing that waiting for perfection stole your momentum. But progress doesn't ask for flawless. It asks for forward. One step. One action. One decision that moves you closer, even if it's messy, even if it's uncomfortable. Because every great life is built from imperfect actions stacked over time. Every breakthrough is born from a moment where you decided to act, not hesitate. And the more you act, the stronger your confidence becomes. Not because you're always winning, but because you're always moving. Movement creates clarity. Action builds belief. And belief is what fuels unstoppable growth. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to feel completely ready. You just need to stop waiting for some magical moment that will never come. There is no perfect timing. There is only now. There is only the choice in front of you. Do you wait, or do you step? Do you hide, or do you try? Do you let the fear of imperfection keep you small, or do you rise anyway? Perfection keeps you focused on what might go wrong. Progress asks what might go right. Perfection keeps you focused on how others will judge you. Progress reminds you it's your life, your pace, your journey. Perfection fears failure. Progress sees failure as data, as feedback, as growth. And the truth is, failure only defines those who stop. But you are not here to stop. You are not here to shrink. You are here to evolve, to stretch, to climb. And that doesn't happen in straight lines or clean victories. It happens in effort. It happens in showing up, again and again. Repeat this truth to yourself today. I choose progress over perfection. I choose movement over fear. I choose learning over pretending. I will not wait until I feel ready. I will not hide behind hesitation. I will take the step, even if it's small, even if it's uncertain. Because one step is enough to break inertia. One decision is enough to prove to yourself that you're not stuck. You're not frozen. You're in motion. This is your power. This is your responsibility. Not to be perfect, but to keep going. To trust that progress, no matter how slow, is still growth. And to remember that the people who change their lives aren't the ones who waited until everything felt right. They're the ones who started while it didn't. Just like you are right now. You are not your past. Whatever happened, whatever you did, whatever was done to you, it does not own you. It does not define who you are, and it does not dictate who you're allowed to become. Too many people live as prisoners of memories, chained to old identities, stuck in patterns they never chose but keep repeating. But right now, in this moment, you can break the cycle. You can stand up and say, that version of me is over. That story is finished. That weight no longer belongs to me. You don't owe your past anything, not your loyalty, not your guilt, not your time. The only thing you owe is your future. You owe it your presence, your commitment, your growth. And that starts by releasing the belief that you are bound to who you used to be. That version of you was surviving. That version of you did the best they could with what they had. But you are no longer that person. You've outgrown them. And now, it's time to step into someone new. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to outgrow relationships, mindsets, habits, and environments. You are allowed to let go of anything that no longer reflects the strength you're building. You are allowed to stop carrying shame that was never yours to begin with. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself from the grip of what can't be changed. It means making peace with it so you can finally move forward without dragging the past behind you like a weight. And yes, the past will try to whisper in your ear. It will remind you of your mistakes, your failures, your regrets. But you are not obligated to listen. You are not obligated to shrink when those memories rise. You can rise higher. You can speak louder. You can look back only to see how far you've come, not to question if you're worthy to keep going. Say this to yourself with full conviction. I am not my past. I am not my failures. I am not my wounds. I am not my old beliefs. I am becoming someone greater, and I do not need permission to begin again. Every day is a blank page, and I will not let yesterday's story steal today's power. I will not let my potential be buried under old labels. I will not wait for the world to confirm what I already know. I have changed. This is how transformation begins, not in giant leaps, but in moments of truth, in decisions to detach, in the courage to forgive yourself and move. You don't need to carry the old version of you into the new life you're building. Leave it. Walk forward. Step lighter. The past may have shaped you, but it no longer controls you. You are free. And freedom starts the moment you decide to stop looking back. You are worthy of great things. Not because you've earned it, not because you've achieved some impossible standard, but simply because you exist. Because you're here. Because there is something in you that cannot be measured by titles, status, or approval. Worth is not something you chase, it's something you claim. And the moment you stop questioning your value is the moment everything begins to rise. Your confidence, your energy, your ability to receive the good you once believed was meant for someone else. So many people shrink themselves. They silence their voice, lower their gaze, and settle for less. Not because they're weak, but because they were conditioned to believe they didn't deserve more. They learned to apologize for their ambition. They learned to expect rejection. They learned to anticipate disappointment before opportunity ever had a chance to arrive. But that belief was never truth. It was programming. And now, it's time to uninstall it. Now it's time to remember who you are before the world taught you to doubt it. You don't need permission to want more. You don't need to justify your desires. You don't need to explain your vision to anyone who doesn't see it. What you need is to trust yourself again. To believe that your goals, your dreams, your healing, they matter. You matter. Your needs are not a burden. Your vision is not too much. Your presence is not an accident. You are not here to just get by. You are here to rise, to build, to lead, to love deeply, and live fully. And that begins when you stop denying your own worth. Say it until it becomes the lens through which you see everything. I am worthy of great things. I am not here to beg. I am not here to earn love through exhaustion. I am not here to prove myself to people who don't even know how to value their own reflection. I am here to show up fully, to take up space, and to walk in alignment with the abundance I was born to receive. Because I am enough, not someday, not after I achieve more. Right now, this mindset changes how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you respond to setbacks. It silences the inner critic and amplifies the inner champion. It helps you stop tolerating environments that drain you. It helps you say no without guilt, and yes, without fear. And that shift, when it takes root, becomes your foundation. You stop settling. You stop chasing people who can't see you. You stop questioning your own reflection. And you start moving with a quiet power that no one can take. You're not asking for too much. You've just been asking the wrong people. You've just been waiting for the world to confirm something that already lives within you. But not anymore. Because from this day forward, you don't wait to feel worthy. You wake up and decide you already are. Show up for yourself, no matter who doesn't, no matter what tries to stop you, no matter how tired, how discouraged, how uncertain you feel. Make this your standard. Because the truth is, no one can save you. No one can do the work for you. No one can push you the way you can push yourself. You are the one who has to decide that you are worth the effort. You are the one who has to get up when no one's watching. You are the one who has to keep going when no one's clapping. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself. It's about proving to yourself that you're no longer available for your own excuses. You've broken promises to yourself before. You've made commitments you didn't keep. And maybe that created a version of you that doubts your own word. But that can change. Every time you follow through, you rebuild trust with yourself. Every time you act on your intention instead of your emotion, you get stronger. Not just in your habits, but in your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who quits, and you start becoming someone who follows through, because they said they would. That shift doesn't just change your mindset, it changes your life. Most people wait to feel motivated, but motivation is fleeting. It's not reliable. What builds momentum is showing up when you don't feel like it. What builds confidence is keeping your word when it's inconvenient. What builds inner power is doing the small things, daily, consistently, even when no one is giving you credit. That is how you separate yourself. That is how you lead. That is how you rise above the noise and move into a version of yourself that doesn't just dream, but delivers. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Growth always is. But discomfort is not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're in the right place. It means you're stretching. It means you're stepping out of who you were and into who you're becoming. You don't run from it. You embrace it. You lean in. You breathe through it, because it's not just about achieving goals. It's about who you become by honoring them. Say this with full conviction. I will show up for myself. I will stop abandoning my goals for temporary feelings. I will stop negotiating with habits that keep me average. I will stop waiting for the right time and start becoming the right person. Every day I will build discipline, not for praise, not for approval, but because I respect the vision I'm building. I respect the future I'm creating. And I respect myself enough to not let myself down anymore. This is not about perfection. It's about alignment, integrity, self-respect. You don't rise by accident. You rise because you keep showing up. Long after the feeling fades, long after the noise quiets, long after everyone else has stopped. You rise because you made a decision. And you never stopped honoring it. Let it go. Whatever you cannot control, release it. Whatever weighs on your chest but stays outside your reach, stop carrying it. You were not designed to hold the whole world. You were not meant to spend your days in a mental war with things that will never change just because you worry harder. Letting go is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. It is choosing peace over chaos, power over panic, focus over frustration. The more energy you waste on what's beyond you, the less you have for what's within you. You can't control what people think. You can't control how they treat you. You can't control the past. You can't control the weather, the traffic, the opinions, the noise. But you can control how you respond. You can control where your focus goes. You can control the story you tell yourself. And that's where freedom begins. Not in changing everything around you, but in mastering everything within you. That's where your energy becomes clean, directed, unstoppable. Not scattered, not reactive, not drained by things that don't serve your purpose. You were never meant to fix everything. You were meant to grow through what you face, not be defined by it. Control is often just a disguise for fear. Fear that if you stop worrying, something bad will happen. Fear that if you don't micromanage every detail, things will fall apart. But the truth is, life is always moving, always shifting. And your power lies in adapting, not controlling, in responding, not panicking, in staying grounded, even when the storm hits. Say it with intention. I release what I cannot control. I choose not to be owned by stress that isn't mine. I will not waste my time arguing with reality. I will not lose myself trying to fix people who don't want to grow. I will not shrink my energy trying to make everything perfect. I will let life flow. I will let people be who they are. I will take responsibility only for what is mine, and I will do it with excellence. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you finally understand the difference between what's yours and what isn't. It means you protect your peace as much as your productivity. It means you no longer feed chaos with your attention. And when you do that, everything changes. You stop waking up exhausted from battles that were never yours. You stop chasing control and start building clarity. And from clarity comes action. From action comes momentum. From momentum comes results. You are not here to carry the weight of everything. You are here to move with purpose, to lead with presence, to give your energy only to what you can impact. Everything else, you surrender. Not in defeat, but in power. Because letting go is not giving up. It's choosing your peace over your pride, and your growth over your need to grip what was never yours to hold. You are stronger than your excuses. Every time you hesitate, every time you delay, every time you tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, you hand your power to an excuse. But that excuse isn't truth. It's fear in disguise. It's comfort pretending to be logic. It's weakness wearing the mask of reason. And the longer you let it speak for you, the longer you stay stuck in cycles you were born to break. You are not built to play small. You were built to overcome. And that starts when you stop giving your excuses a voice. Excuses sound convincing. They're dressed up in just enough truth to feel safe. I'm too tired. It's not the right time. I'm not ready yet. What if I fail? But the real cost isn't in what you tell yourself. It's in what you never become because of it. Every time you choose the excuse, you abandon the opportunity. Every time you choose the easy way, you weaken the standard. And slowly, without realizing it, you become someone who expects less, who settles for average, who dreams quietly but lives passively. But that's not who you are. You're not here to live beneath your capacity. You're not here to explain why you didn't try. You're here to face what's uncomfortable, to do the thing anyway, to feel the resistance and move through it, not around it. That's how real strength is built. Not when it's easy, but when you push in the middle of the tension. When you move without the perfect plan. When you act without the guarantee. That's what separates the committed from the casual, the driven from the distracted. Tell yourself the truth. I am stronger than my excuses. I am not controlled by comfort. I do not let fear disguise itself as reason. I take action even when it's hard. Even when I don't feel ready. Even when the voice of doubt is loud. Because excuses will always be there, but I will not be ruled by them. I choose progress. I choose growth. I choose to move when it would be easier to stay still. Every time you silence an excuse, you prove to yourself that you're serious. Every time you take the step you didn't feel like taking, you add weight to your self-belief. And that belief becomes momentum. That momentum becomes character. That character becomes identity. And once you build the identity of someone who acts, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not fatigue, not failure. Because you've trained yourself to rise when others retreat. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be relentless. Consistent, committed to doing the thing even when the excuse sounds more comfortable. Especially then. Because on the other side of the excuse is everything you said you wanted, and the only thing standing in the way is the story you no longer need to tell. Let it go, replace it with action. Because you are stronger now, strong enough to choose discipline over delay. And that's how everything changes. Focus on what matters. Your time is limited. Your energy is finite. Every thought, every action, every ounce of attention you give away is a choice. And too often, that choice is made unconsciously. Spent on distractions, drained by comparison, consumed by things that do not move you forward. You cannot afford to keep giving the best of yourself to what leaves you empty. You cannot afford to live scattered, reacting to everything around you while your purpose waits in silence. The more you focus on what doesn't matter, the further you drift from what does. There's noise everywhere, notifications, opinions, temptations, empty entertainment. But not everything that demands your attention deserves it. Not everyone who speaks deserves your response. You have to protect your mental space like it's sacred, because it is. Because whatever fills your mind, fills your life. And if you're not intentional, the world will program you with its agenda, not yours. You'll wake up every day busy, but not fulfilled. Active, but not aligned. Surrounded, but disconnected from yourself. You were not meant to live that way. You were meant to focus, to build, to move with clarity, not confusion, to direct your time and energy into the things that bring you closer to your vision, not deeper into distraction. You were meant to feel progress, not just motion, meaning, not just momentum. And that begins the moment you decide that not everything is worthy of your attention, that your purpose is too important to compete with trivial noise. Say it clearly and mean it. I will focus on what matters. I will not be pulled into other people's chaos. I will not waste my energy fighting battles that don't belong to me. I will not sacrifice my peace just to prove a point. I will give my best to what builds me. I will show up for what aligns with my growth, my values, and my future. And I will have the discipline to let everything else go. Focus is a form of power. When you master it, you become unstoppable. You stop reacting to everything and start responding with intention. You stop being emotionally hijacked by every interruption. You create space for depth, for mastery, for fulfillment. And in that space you find yourself again. You reconnect with what matters, with what moves you, with the fire that gets buried beneath all the noise. This isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. It's about simplifying, prioritizing, eliminating what doesn't serve your highest self. Because clarity isn't found in adding more, it's found in subtracting what's in the way. And the more you subtract the noise, the more your purpose becomes clear, the more your actions become aligned, the more your life becomes a reflection of what truly matters. And that's when real progress begins, not in scattered effort, but in focused, intentional, purpose-driven action that cannot be shaken. Every breakthrough you're chasing begins with discipline. Not the kind that's loud or glamorous, the quiet kind, the kind that shows up when no one is watching, the kind that refuses to negotiate with excuses. Discipline is what turns intention into progress. It is the bridge between who you are now and who you are becoming. You will never rise without it. You will never conquer yourself without it, because motivation will fade, inspiration will waver, but discipline remains, standing firm when everything else inside you wants to quit. There is a war inside your mind, a war between comfort and growth, between convenience and greatness. Every time you choose what's easy over what's necessary, you reinforce weakness. Every time you give in to distraction, delay, or doubt, you shrink your potential. But every time you hold the line, when you choose to stay consistent, to do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel, you strengthen the part of you that's built for more. You train the muscle that carries you through resistance, and that is the muscle that wins. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to get it all right. But you do need to be consistent. You need to stop negotiating with your old self, the one who wants comfort, the one who wants to avoid pain, responsibility, growth. That version of you has to die if you want to rise. And that doesn't happen all at once. It happens daily, in every small decision, in every moment of pressure when you choose to stay locked in instead of breaking down. Discipline is a choice, not a trait, not a talent. A choice, made every single day in the way you think, the way you speak to yourself, the way you follow through when it's easier to stop. And that choice becomes your power, because the world doesn't reward the most talented. It rewards the most disciplined, the ones who show up tired, the ones who show up when they don't feel like it, the ones who do the work regardless of the weather inside them. You are not weak. You are not lazy. You've just been trained by patterns that no longer serve you. And now it's time to break them, not by waiting for motivation, not by hoping it gets easier, but by becoming stronger, by proving to yourself one day at a time that you are no longer controlled by old habits. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are who you repeatedly choose to become. And if you can master the discipline of showing up, everything changes. Your mind changes. Your body changes. Your results change. Your future transforms, not because you wished for it, but because you earned it. Discipline builds the life you were meant for, and it starts the moment you stop waiting and start deciding. The moment you decide you're done negotiating with weakness, life begins to respond, not gently, not slowly, but forcefully, because the world doesn't hand success to the timid. It exposes them, it confronts them, it challenges every word they speak and every promise they make to themselves. That is why discipline must be deeper than desire. It must be built into your identity. It must be who you are when no one is watching, when nothing is working, and when everything inside you wants to run. If you want to rise, you must first learn how to stand alone, not with support, not with applause, alone, with grit, with purpose, with unshakable resolve, because no one is coming to do it for you. This is the cost of transformation. Not comfort, not shortcuts. Sacrifice. You give up who you were for who you must become. You burn the bridge back to your old patterns. You silence the voice that says, just this once. You replace it with the voice that says, never again. Not out of fear, but out of power. Because you know what's at stake. You know the life you want can't be built on convenience. It must be built on conviction, on structure, on consistency so intense that even your worst days still move you forward. You cannot be half in. You cannot want growth while still clinging to your excuses. You cannot speak about your goals while living in contradiction. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is built from the choices you make in silence. It is built from the pain you are willing to endure and the habits you are willing to master. Every time you act in alignment with your highest standard, you cut through weakness, you sharpen your mind, you sculpt your future, because the person who keeps showing up wins, Not the one who starts fast, not the one who waits for the perfect time, the one who stays steady, focused, unstoppable. You don't have to be the most gifted. You don't need the perfect plan. You only need to decide that you're done being average, done being ruled by emotions, done letting temporary feelings sabotage permanent progress. You have power inside you that's been buried under years of distraction and doubt, but it's still there. And when you commit fully, without compromise, without excuses, you start to access it, not in bursts, but in rhythm, in repetition, in routine. This is how greatness is built. Not by magic, by mechanics. Discipline is the system, effort is the fuel, belief is the engine, and when they all align, nothing can stop you. The choice is always yours. Stay where it's comfortable, or rise where it's hard. You weren't born to repeat cycles. You were born to break them. So rise, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now. Because the life you want is already waiting for the version of you who won't stop until it's real. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. It whispers lies that feel like truth. It tells you to slow down, to rest when you haven't earned it, to settle for less because more is hard. But everything you truly want sits just outside your comfort zone, and the only way to reach it is to get uncomfortable on purpose, to lean into resistance, to step where fear tells you to stop. Growth begins where excuses end, and your excuses are nothing more than chains keeping you bound to a version of yourself that no longer fits who you're becoming. Break them. Refuse to be ruled by feelings that sabotage your future. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are simply untrained, and training begins with a choice. Decide that you will not let emotion dictate execution. Decide that your mind is the master, not the victim. Decide that your actions will align with your ambition, not your moods. You don't need permission. You don't need motivation. You need clarity, consistency, and an unwavering refusal to quit. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they can't stay focused. They can't stay disciplined. They get tired and give up, forgetting that every step forward, no matter how small, is still a victory. You don't need massive wins every day. You need relentless forward motion. That's how momentum is built. That's how confidence is born, not from comfort, but from conquering hard things. You don't get stronger by avoiding struggle. You get stronger by walking through it and proving to yourself that nothing can break you. Your future is shaped in these exact moments, when quitting is easier than continuing, when giving in is more tempting than pushing through. These are the moments that forge champions, not the easy ones, the brutal ones, the ones that test everything you say you want, the ones that ask how bad do you want it, and the answer must always be action, not talk, not hope, work, every single day. There's no shortcut, there's no secret, just the raw truth. Discipline over drama, execution over excuses, purpose over pleasure. You weren't made to stay the same. You were made to evolve, to rise, to dominate the space you once feared. But you can't do it passively. You must show up like your life depends on it, because it does. Every choice, every rep, every hour spent mastering your craft rewires your identity into something stronger, something unshakable. No one else can do it for you. And that's your power. Because when you realize it's all on you, you also realize that no one can stop you. Not opinions, not failures, not even fear. So raise your standard, raise your focus, raise your work ethic, and watch the world respond to the force of someone who refuses to back down. You are not here to be average. You are here to break limits. So act like it, speak like it, train like it, and never look back. Greatness doesn't come to the one who waits. It belongs to the one who builds it, brick by brick, through sweat, hunger, and sheer refusal to settle. Every second you hesitate is a second wasted. Every excuse you entertain is a step backward. You are either building your dream or breaking it. There is no neutral. There is no standing still. Life is movement, and if you're not pushing forward, you're slowly falling behind. The clock doesn't care how you feel. The world doesn't stop spinning for your doubts. So why should you pause your mission for fear, for weakness, for comfort? You are not here to negotiate with mediocrity. You are here to rise, to take what is yours, to walk through the fire and emerge sharper, stronger, and untouchable. Pressure is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the weight that carves the muscle of your mind. It's the force that reveals whether your goals are wishes or decisions. When it gets heavy, when it gets dark, when it feels like everything is against you, that's when it counts. That's when you prove to yourself what you're really made of. Not when it's easy, not when things go your way, but when everything inside you screams for relief, and you keep going anyway. That is where your identity is born. That is where your power takes form. Because you're not just chasing goals, you're becoming the kind of person who can't be stopped. And that matters more than any single win. Your thoughts shape your future long before your actions do. And if your mind is filled with limits, your life will reflect them. You must speak power into your path. You must declare with your mindset what you demand from your reality. No more letting fear narrate your story. No more letting failure define your worth. You've made it this far not to stop, but to rise even harder. You are not behind. You are just beginning. And every step from here is a statement, a signal to yourself and to the world that your time is now. Don't wait for signs. Don't wait for the right mood. Discipline begins where feelings end. You act because you said you would. You grind because your dream is non-negotiable. You push because comfort is the lie that steals destinies. And you will not be stolen from. You will not be silenced. You will not be sidelined by fear, by doubt, or by delay. You are the storm. You are the force. You are the answer to your own potential. So rise with relentless intent. Breathe fire into your goals. Eliminate every excuse. Focus with tunnel vision. Move with ruthless purpose. Carry yourself like someone who refuses to lose. Because once you decide that quitting is not an option, you become a different breed. One who doesn't break. One who doesn't beg. One who builds. And that version of you? Unstoppable. When your back is against the wall and no one sees the war inside you, that's the moment you either collapse or rise. And if you choose to rise, you rise alone. You rise raw, and you rise ready. Because this journey was never about applause or validation. It was always about the fire in your soul that refuses to go out. The voice that whispers, keep going, even when your body screams for rest. The truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to hand you strength. You must build it. You must claim it. You must bleed for it in silence and wear it like armor in the face of every obstacle. Strength is not a gift. It's a decision. It's forged through suffering, through failure, through every single moment you chose to move forward instead of fold. You are not weak for struggling. You are powerful because you keep fighting. You are dangerous because you don't quit. And every time you show up when it would be easier to disappear, you are proving to yourself that nothing can break you unless you let it. Life will test you. It will try to break your spirit. It will throw delays, losses, and silence at you. But your response is the final word. Not the pain, not the pressure. You are the author now. You write the ending. And the only way the story ends in defeat is if you stop turning the page. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. And what you do now will echo through everything that follows. Are you going to repeat the patterns that kept you small? Or are you going to burn them to the ground and step into a version of yourself that refuses to be limited? The future is shaped by discipline, not desire. It's built by the ones who show up tired, who show up afraid but show up anyway. Because their dream is bigger than their excuses. Their vision is louder than their fear. And their soul is anchored in something deeper than comfort. Pain is temporary. Weakness is a liar. Time is moving. And the only thing worse than falling is never trying. You owe it to the future version of yourself to fight through the resistance of today. You owe it to your purpose to stop playing small. Your next level won't accept your current mindset. You must evolve. You must let go of every version of yourself that was built in survival and step into a mindset built on power, clarity, and forward motion. Stop looking for permission. Stop waiting for certainty. Stop giving your energy to things that do not build you. Everything you need is already inside you. All that's missing is the decision to unleash it. So make it, lock in, and never look back. Because once you commit at a level so deep that nothing can shake you, the world moves out of your way. Most people wait. They wait for motivation. They wait for clarity. They wait for everything to feel perfect before they move. And in that waiting, their power dissolves. Their edge dulls. Their dreams rot in the silence between intentions and action. But those who rise, those who separate themselves from the rest, are the ones who stop waiting and start moving, even with doubt, even with fear, even with chaos swirling all around them. Because they understand something simple. Momentum isn't a gift, it's a creation, built one action at a time, one moment of courage stacked on top of the last. Progress is not found in bursts of inspiration. It is found in discipline, in choosing the harder path, in doing what needs to be done even when every part of you wants to retreat. You are not here to survive the day. You are here to dominate it, to make it count, to make it serve your vision. Because the version of you that stays passive, hesitant, and afraid of judgment will never meet the version of you who is powerful, fulfilled, and untouchable. You must kill comfort. You must get obsessed with growth. You must fall in love with the process of becoming so resilient, so focused, so mentally unbreakable that nothing external can alter your path. Stop feeding the voice that tells you to wait. Stop entertaining thoughts that keep you playing safe. You were not born to be average. You were not designed for mediocrity. Every moment you hold back, every time you procrastinate, you steal from your future. You rob your potential. You shrink your destiny. Decide to become unavailable for anything less than excellence. Get uncomfortable with comfort. Challenge yourself so relentlessly that comfort starts to feel like a threat to your evolution. If your habits aren't building you, they're burying you. If your thoughts aren't empowering you, they're enslaving you. And if your actions aren't aligning with your purpose, you're drifting further from the life you were meant to build. Refuse to live in reaction. Refuse to live by emotion. Build the discipline to act in alignment, regardless of how you feel. Because your emotions are temporary, but your results are permanent. This is not about motivation anymore. This is about self-respect. This is about proving to yourself that your word means something. That your vision matters more than your distractions. That your purpose is more powerful than your patterns. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are simply untrained in how powerful you truly are. And once you decide to stop negotiating with your limitations, everything changes. That shift doesn't require anyone's approval. It doesn't need the right timing. It just needs your decision. The kind of decision that cuts off all other options. Burn the excuses. Shatter the lies. Choose growth, no matter what it costs. Because the only thing more painful than discipline is regret. And you've already tasted enough of that. Most people never outgrow the limits they've accepted. Not because they can't, but because they never question them. They adapt to a small life, then convince themselves they chose it. But deep down, they feel the truth clawing at them. The truth that they were meant for more. Meant for impact. Meant to lead, not follow. Meant to build, not beg. And the moment you stop arguing for your limitations is the moment everything begins to change. Your energy returns. Your clarity sharpens. Your decisions gain weight. Because you're no longer feeding a version of you that was built in fear. You're feeding the version of you that was forged in purpose. One who no longer needs permission to be powerful. There is no secret formula. There is no magic breakthrough. Just decisions. Decisions repeated until they become your identity. Discipline until it becomes instinct. Focus until it becomes your way of life. The world tries to drown that fire with noise, distraction, and self-doubt. But once you stop giving your attention to what doesn't serve you, your mind begins to clear. You begin to remember who you were before you let fear speak louder than purpose. Before you let comfort seduce you into silence. That power has always been there. It was just buried under years of hesitation, excuses, and watered-down ambition. If you want a different life, you must become a different person. Not someday. Not when it's easy. Right now. The habits you tolerate today define the future you create. The words you speak to yourself shape your self-image. And the energy you allow into your life either builds you or breaks you. You don't rise by chance. You rise by choice. Not once, but every day. Especially on the days it would be easier to coast. Especially when no one's watching. Especially when progress feels slow and invisible. Because the ones who make it, the ones who transform, are the ones who stay the course when motivation dies. They understand that success isn't built on feelings, it's built on standards. You have to stop living by what's convenient. Start living by what's required. Stop waiting for a shift and become the shift. Every minute spent in doubt is a minute stolen from execution. Every second wasted on complaining is a second you could have used to evolve. You are either reinforcing weakness or training strength. There is no in between. And the cost of staying the same is far greater than the discomfort of change. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to decide that average is no longer acceptable, that your life is not meant to be a reflection of your fears, but of your power. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Just rise, commit, keep showing up. Because when you stop quitting on yourself, the world stops underestimating you. Your mind is the gatekeeper of your reality. If you feed it weakness, it will produce hesitation. If you train it with truth, it will build resilience. Every thought you allow becomes a brick in the foundation of your identity. And the longer you entertain doubt, the more comfortable it becomes. You cannot build a future by constantly revisiting your fears. You cannot claim greatness while nurturing the habits of self-sabotage. Your future doesn't begin with luck. It begins with mental clarity. Ruthless clarity. The kind that burns through distractions and refuses to negotiate with mediocrity. The kind that says no to comfort, no to compromise, and yes to responsibility. Because real growth demands discomfort. It demands that you rise even when everything inside you wants to rest. It demands that you show up with courage, even when you feel empty. You weren't born to repeat patterns. You were born to rewrite them. You were not given potential so you could bury it beneath a life of convenience. You were given potential so you could sharpen it, challenge it, and use it to rise above every limitation life tries to throw at you. The pain you avoid becomes the prison you live in. The resistance you run from becomes the wall between where you are and who you could become. But the moment you confront it, face to face, breath by breath, that's when the shift happens. That's when the excuses lose their power. That's when the real you starts to emerge, no longer waiting for the world to understand, no longer chasing permission. There is a version of you who doesn't back down, a version who doesn't shrink to fit into spaces too small for your calling. But to become that version, you must be willing to outgrow the old one. Let go of the need to be liked. Let go of the fear of judgment. Let go of the guilt of choosing yourself. Growth requires sacrifice, the sacrifice of comfort, distraction, and shallow validation. And the longer you delay that sacrifice, the more you feed the lie that you're not ready. Readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. It's the moment you stop reacting to life and start commanding it. The moment you silence the noise and listen to that inner fire telling you there's more. You don't get to evolve without letting go. You don't get to rise while clinging to what broke you. Power doesn't come from pretending everything's fine. It comes from doing the work regardless. No shortcuts, no secrets, just inner war and quiet victories. You either build yourself or betray yourself. Every day is a vote for the future you want or the comfort you settle for. You don't need the stars to align. You don't need the timing to be perfect. You just need to decide that your life is worth fighting for. Not someday. Now. Because nothing changes until you do.